Hello everybody. I can't remember if I did an update yesterday or not. So I'm going to start this clip with an update. I'm kind of in a catch-22 situation at the moment where there's stuff that I want to do but I can't because of making too much noise. It's still kind of early on a Saturday morning. But there's still a lot I need to get done on this piece. I was hoping to have sealed it yesterday, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. I spent a long time working on this yesterday. My fingers were absolutely killing me, my hands were killing me, and I wasn't at a point where I was ready to seal. And when I cleaned it, it proved that I was right, because interestingly I have found it difficult to see some of the holes that I've been trying to get rid of, or when I found them I seem to be losing them, but when I cleaned it with the white spirits, the colour difference of the wood showed up the holes, so the circle still needs some work on it. And there's a few other bits that still need tidying up really. I had also sort of come to the conclusion that I would excavate the letters a bit more, but I've not actually mentioned what I'd managed to do yesterday. I've mentioned before that I want to make, I need a fairly smooth edge inside the lettering, so that when I put the coloured resin in, its edge looks tidy. Well, I wasn't sure I was going to do that. Well, in the end, what I ended up doing was taking this bit and basically using the size on the end as a depth gauge. So basically what I was able to do was use this as a depth gauge like that, which I don't know if you can see, but it's about right. Now the angle may have changed, but I went with as low an angle as I could do, but it was awkward. Also, in the extra shadowing bits, I think I was a little too cautious, but also it got to a point last night where I was struggling for light in here, and I was struggling to see, my eyes were hurting, so I got to a point where I just had to stop. So there is still a bit that I need to do today, a bit more sort of tidying up with it, but I'm limited because of the noise I can make at the minute. But at the same time I feel like I need to do something with this. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to get my sandpaper and just sand down the wood around the letters, really, just give it a bit of a sanding, because it's not had that much of a sanding. I mean, maybe one of the things that I should have done before I started, perhaps this might be a good idea for the future, is to sand the surface down to smooth first, rather than working from natural, because that working from natural could leave us with a bumpy top layer basically. But anyway, so I'm just going to do a bit of hand sanding. Now you may notice there as well that there's a couple of colours. I realised that I hadn't looked yet at what colours I had in my box of goodies, and there was two colours that I was really hoping to potentially use out of the pastel colours, which was a pink or a blue. That pink is a little bit too bright, I think, and the rose red is a little bit too bloody. the blue that I've got is a Royal Navy blue. Now I could so I should put my mask on for this. I could mix in white colour with the pink or the blue, but I don't really want to do that, and the reason being is I may need a lot more resin than I realise for this, which, if that's the case, I don't want to have to continually keep mixing colours, because if I do that I could end up with different colours. So I'd rather just go with one colour, which is potentially leading me towards not doing a pastel colour. And instead potentially doing something that I think will look good and seeing how it goes. I've gone with a 240 grit sandpaper here. Just to try and get rid of some of the marks that I've noticed are on this wood. But I am going to try sanding the wood down quite a bit. I mean, you can see where I've sanded already. I am going to try and sand it down quite a bit by the end. Obviously, one of the things that I do have to be careful of is I want to make sure that I don't go damaging what I've already done so far, but I'm not going to pussy around it. Searching my arms a bit. I'm going to get covered in sawdust a little bit here. So my hand's hurting now like it was yesterday. on the camera I can see this bit looks a very different colour to that bit. Really do being able to use the vacuum cleaner here. Yeah, should use the vacuum. Oh, we can get all that a bit later on. I'm just wondering if it might be worth me trying to get in to the lettering a little bit. We'll see. I was going to do this with a Dremel, but I suppose if I can do some of it now, save time later. It's quite tiring, this for me. I don't know how much benefit this is really going to do me overall, but and one of the things that I mentioned a little while ago was that I was contemplating excavating the letters some more. I'm in two minds about that, because the more I excavate, the more resin I need. But there's a possibility that if I don't excavate, I might not put enough resin in, but at the depth that all my lettering is at, I should be fine. But we'll see. I'm undecided. I think time-wise, I may have to I think because of time, I might have to not excavate further. Now, I don't think, well no, I know, I'm pretty sure I know that by the time I have given this as a gift, the video where I first mention about it, or hint towards it, will still not have been public yet. Or where I talk about a gift made has more meaning than a gift bought. So, for example, my niece who watches my wood videos, don't pick up my bad language, will not have seen me mention about a gift made. So, I don't know if when this gift is given, it's going to be received as a nice gift or not. Also, there's a chance I may not get this done in time, but not for a birthday, maybe a day late, we'll see. To be honest, it depends on how today goes. I think it's the 21st today. I need to get this sealed today. I just realised, no, sorry. I'm hoping to maybe do a little bit of this sanding by hand. Might just take away some of the holes, or those final remnants of holes for that. I think one of the problems I was having as well with using the Dremel was that it created so much sawdust that the sawdust was filling the holes, so I couldn't see them. Okay, now this bit is one of the main bits that's got holes on it, annoyingly. Yeah, so even doing this by hand, it looks like all the holes from that side have gone, but I don't think they have. No, they haven't. I can see them here now. Now it's turned. Okay, well, it's had a bit of a clean up. Might as well carry on with it. In doing this as well, it will give me a chance to sort of have a look in detail at what I've got left to do. Because, I mean, another thing that I realised yesterday was when it comes to pouring the colour in here, I need to make sure that A, where my corners are, I've got the right shapes in there, and I've got enough depth, but also that I'm pouring enough resin to fill the letters properly without coming all the way up to the top. Got a bit of a hole there. One of the things I might have to look at doing at some point is, I'm perhaps looking at getting myself a cheap printer so I can print off lettering if I'm going to continue trying to do this kind of thing, rather than having to hand copy it off a screen. But then also I'll perhaps find a different way than the dots, or, I mean, to be fair, with the dots that I tend to have remaining, it's mainly on the circle where I've had to freehand all of the work, and I just simply haven't taken enough off the inner edge or the outer edge. But there's also a few places where the details get quite narrow, so I've obviously been a little too cautious. And what I learned as well yesterday about the carving of the lettering in the way that I did it, we're using the bit as a depth gauge. I definitely found very, very useful, and had I done that from the start, well, had I done that from the start, it probably would have helped, but I would have needed some excavation to allow the bit to really do its job. Oh shit. That's got a really bumpy edge, that has. That's one of the things I need to be careful of, because the bumpier the edge, the more wavy the resin, the coloured resin will be. And it's one of the things, because I'm doing this by hand, I'm never going to be able to get it perfect, unfortunately. Especially only with what? It's only a few months practice, or a few months learning on it. Well, it's not like I fucking went to art school or anything, or did carpentry as a education. That's one thing to remember. I mean, everything I'm doing is still self-taught. The thing is, I suppose, when it comes to art and things like that, I mean, does a piece of art have to be perfect? No. And one of the things that makes it a piece of art is its uniqueness from imperfection, I guess. Could me be an old fucking artist. Now, it may have been all artistic, but I don't know which bit I was just fucking sanding. That bit there. That's right, yeah, I was getting rid of there's some holes that are right by the edge that I'm able to just sort of sand away a bit, which will help me later on. Now as well, just in case Holly doesn't like this, I am thinking I might have to give her a bit of money as well. But now, that was something I mentioned as well, is from all of the woodworking stuff that I've done, I've mentioned at different times about the feel of wood, sound dodgy and stuff like that. Now obviously having the power tools is extremely useful. There's no way I could do this without power tools. But using the power tools, you do lose some of the feel. So like now, for example, as I'm sort of trying to sand these edges a little bit, I'm feeling every bump and every ridge, and I'm realising how not smooth it is. Whereas with a machine, I'm not feeling that. Oh shit. Now at the moment I'm still only using a 240 grit sandpaper. Once I've gone through the lettering here, I will get some of my slightly finer to go over it. I mean, ideally I'd like to give this a proper fucking sand down. Going from 240 down to 5,000 so that this front edge would be perfectly flat, or as perfectly flat as I could make it. But if I'm going to do that, I can't do that until later today because of the noise. But also, I can't do that if I've already sealed it, because once I put that resin in to seal it, that's it, it needs 24 hours to cure, which is why I need to get this done today. Excuse me. I had talked previously as well about trying to put lights in the back of this. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the time to try. Also, I couldn't come up with a solution that I would have been happy with at the moment. So running out of time as well, but yeah, struggling for solutions on that one. I mean, I think the way to have done it, well, I don't know, maybe to go all the way through, but that would have taken a long time. I would have had to have drilled holes, jigsawed it, and yeah, and then probably take more resin than I have to complete that. Okay, so at the moment then, not looking too bad is this. Let's just see if we can work on these circles more without actually having to cut it again. I think I might be able to get rid of some, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they need cutting out. Bollocks. I think just trying to sand down to where they are might take too long. You never know, I might get it. No, it's going to need cutting because they're still... Right, okay. So for that I'm going to just need to fucking, well, I just need to sit here and just keep going. Or wait a bit, and then I was trying to find, yeah, wait a bit and cut it. But, right, I'm going to have to cut that later. Right. Oh, you fucker. Okay, so there is still some work that needs to be done on that. Sanding sheets over here somewhere. 400.